Hi guys, this is Hero, and today I'm going to be talking about Mercury in the sign of Pisces, okay? Now, why is this important? Well, we know that Mercury is the only planet that gets exalted in its own sign, okay? It gets exalted in its own sign of Virgo, okay? Now, Mercury in this transit is going into Pisces, so it's not only the sign that gets debilitated in, but it's also its opposite sign, okay? And for more information on opposite versus own sign versus debilitation versus exaltation, you could just watch my video on that. Just search up any one of those 4 terms on my channel and you'll find it pretty quickly, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now back to the video. So Mercury is in Pisces, right? So Mercury here, it's conjoined with the sun the whole time. Okay, first of all, Mercury is moving very, very quickly through this. Okay, so that means the effects are more, you could say, pronounced. Okay, so this transit only lasts like 2 weeks, I think. Okay, so it moves through the sign really quick, so its effects are going to be strong. But so just a little heads up on that. But the sun, it doesn't really like Pisces either. Okay, it gets exalted in Aries. Sun represents kind of, you could say, like the ego or the identity in the more Eastern philosophies. So when the sun is in Pisces, the ego doesn't really want to let go of stuff. Okay, but it will here, right? Because it's in Pisces. So Mercury, it's in Pisces, it's opposite sign and debilitation sign. It's with Sun, who is not, the biggest fan of Pisces as well. And they get a third full aspect from Saturn, so that adds to frustration. And they get a 5th aspect from Ketu, so that adds to the more feeling of lostness. Okay, so what does all this mean here? So Mercury in general in Pisces represents, that Mercury represents the rational intelligence, right? So when the rational intelligence goes into Pisces, it feels really lost, okay? This is not good for the rational intelligence, especially because it's with, it's getting, especially because it's getting that 5th aspect from Ketu, it feels a little bit even more lost, okay? So what does this mean? What should we do? Or should I say, what should we not do? We should not make any crazy decisions during this time, okay? Especially because, and I'm going to warn you, it's moving quickly, so that that lostness feeling, all the feelings, when it moves quickly, all the feelings get enhanced, okay? So the lostness feeling is already there. Ketu aspects this, so it feels more lost. Saturn throws a 3rd full aspect on Pisces, so it adds frustration to Mercury. Mercury's with Sun, the ego is frustrated. Mercury revolves around the sun very closely and is very, the rational intelligence, you could say, kind of serves the ego in a sense, okay? So the ego is frustrated, so that adds more temptation to make kind of, wild, less rational decisions, you could say. And Saturn not only throws frustration on Mercury, but it throws frustration on the sun also. So the sun also gets, it's not only, not the happiest because it's being forced to let go, it's also a little lost because it gets aspected from Ketu as well, and it gets frustrated from Saturn. So it's like Mercury sitting with Sun, and both Mercury and Sun are adding, feelings of lostness from Ketu, and they're both getting frustrated from Saturn. And Mercury is getting, more frustrated from the frustrated Sun, if that makes sense. Okay, so do not get any bold ideas to do anything crazy during this transit. This transit is occurring from March 24th to April 8th, I think. The dates will be correct in the video title. So yeah, don't do any of that. I think I just explained why you should not do that, okay? Now, so just this is only for 2 weeks, okay? Your rational intelligence is not going to be there, okay? So if you have any thoughts or any crazy frustration, you need to learn to just let it go, okay? Do not, try to give into it or fight it or anything like that. Or else, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. When Sun goes into Aries, you're going to spend all that time cleaning up all the stuff, all the disaster you made when when Mercury was in Pisces, okay? If you because the tendency is there because it's moving very quickly, okay? So it's not in Pisces for long, but it's moving quick. So if you do something when Mercury is in Pisces, its effect is going to be a lot stronger, okay? And you do not want to clean up Mercury, the mess you made when Mercury is in Pisces, you do not want to clean that up when Sun is in Aries, because Sun moves into Aries at the same time when Jupiter goes into Pisces, its own sign, Saturn goes into Aquarius, its own Mutrikon, and Rahu and Ketu change signs. Okay, so all three of the big planets are changing signs, I think throughout the month of April. Okay, and Sun going into Aries, it can cause like a great, a kickstart to all these important transits that are occurring, these important and very strong planets, because I said, Saturn and Jupiter are going into their own Mutrikon sign and own sign. So these are all those big transits are occurring at the same time, and they're all very strong, and they all get kickstarted by a sun getting exalted also. Okay, so very, very great time to just get your life going in the right direction. But you do not want to blow that kickstart that the sun is giving you when it's in Aries by cleaning up the mess when Mercury's in Pisces. Okay, all these transits and stuff, you got to look at the story behind them. Okay, so I just said those big three transits are getting kickstarted very strongly by Sun in Aries, but you do not want to blow that by not working on, you could say not working on what you needed to work on when Sun was in Pisces. Okay, so I just said what not to do. Okay, if you're not spiritually inclined at all too much or anything like that, just do not do that. Okay, please do not make any big bold decision when Mercury is in Pisces. Okay, now for my more spiritual viewers out there, so we notice that Mercury owns the Revati Nakshatra. Okay, and Revati is the last nakshatra of the whole zodiac. It sits at the end of the water sign. Like Mercury owns all the nakshatras that sit at the end of the water sign, and Revati owns almost half of Pisces. And I just said how Mercury doesn't like Pisces so much, right? So why is this? Well, we need to understand that the nakshatra system and the sign system, they're independent, but they kind of work together. Okay, so Pisces is mainly comprised of two nakshatras. Okay, there's Uttara Bhadrapada, which I'm just gonna name as UB in this video for sure, and then there's Revati. Okay, Mercury gets debilitated right at around 15 degrees, so it's basically right when UB finishes. Right, as it goes through UB, it's kind of getting more and more closer towards debilitation, and right after debilitation, it enters into its own sign of Revati. Okay, so now why is this? Well, first we need to understand what's the importance of nakshatra roles, and these two a little bit more in specific. Well, Pisces overall owned by Jupiter, because Jupiter represents the wisdom of letting go and stuff like that. Pisces overall, like I said, is ruled by these two. UB is ruled by Saturn. Okay, and UB kind of represents letting go of the things that you need to let go. Okay, Revati, which is ruled by Mercury, represents, you could say in general, letting go of everything. Okay, so UB, letting go of the things you need to, and then Revati just gets moving on to, as you get deeper and deeper into Pisces in the end of the zodiac, just starting to let go of everything. Okay, so UB is ruled by Saturn. Why? Because letting go of the things you need to let go of. Okay, you need Saturn on board. You need Saturn's influence to kind of do this. Okay, Revati. Why do we need Mercury for Revati? Okay, it's because as we kind of let go, we need Mercury's intelligence to kind of adapt to, I could say, what we've lost, and make the changes accordingly. As we lose, we use Mercury to make the changes that we need to. Okay, so Mercury, it gets debilitated halfway through. So there's a little bit of a difference between spirit. Okay, what we're doing, like I said, it's just not making any crazy bold decisions during this time. Okay, but for our spiritual seekers, more, how can we better grow from this? Okay, so Mercury, when it goes into after its peak debilitation, when it goes into its own sign, its own nakshatra, of Revati. Why does Mercury also own Revati in specific, not just genuinely, owning the last nakshatra of the water signs in general? Well, Mercury represents what? Our rational intelligence. We have certain thinking patterns and ways of thinking that we're attached to. So when Mercury goes into Revati, it's kind of letting go of, the thinking patterns that could be unresourceful for us. Okay, so that is a great time, for meditation and being aware of, okay, when Mercury's in Revati, okay, so this is basically, pretty much the April part of this transit, you could say. what thinking patterns do I have, that are unresourceful to me? Okay, you're kind of gonna have to dive deeper into your own brain. And I'd recommend meditation to figure this out, especially because, Mercury's in Pisces. It already has that ability to, kind of attach to the, the Pisces more spiritual side of things, okay, which is not what Mercury wants to do, but it can do it. And then when it goes to Revati, its own Nakshrata, it has the ability to, like I said, detach and let go of the mental that is no longer going to serve you when Mercury, enters a new section of the zodiac cycle. Okay, so that's very powerful. So after that 15 degrees debilitation, when Mercury gets into Revati, I really want you to keep that in mind. Okay, in Revati, if you look at it from a Pada to Pada level, the 4 Padas in the D9 chart, Revati Pada 1, 2, 3, 4, in the D9, if a planet passes through those 4 sections in the D9 chart, it sits in Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, okay, which are all the last 4 signs of the zodiac, which are ruled by Jupiter and Saturn. And I've said in many previous videos before that last fire to water section of the zodiac is very, very important. And I would say arguably the most important from a spiritual level. Okay. Yeah. If you've watched my videos a lot, you probably already know that I think that. But so that section, it could be very important for that reason. Okay. So I just want to throw that out to you and make you aware of that as well. So throughout the whole time, don't make any crazy decisions. When it's after it passes its debilitation degrees, when it goes into Revati, keep that in mind. Think about what thinking patterns that we can let go. Okay. And before it gets debilitated, we just kind of want to be a little bit on more higher alert. Okay. Because why? Mercury is in Saturn. Sorry. Mercury is in UB, which is ruled by Saturn. Okay. So it's kind of going to add to that frustration. Like I said, UB is about letting go of the things that you need to let go of. But because Mercury, it's already feeling a little bit lost in Pisces, it's not going to make the best judgment on, letting go of certain things. Okay. You could, for example, like, let's just say you're considering buying a new house. You could feel the need to let go of your old house and buy a new one, but it might not be proper. It might, the house you're buying is just way too expensive. Just something like that. So up until it gets debilitated, you want to just be even more alert of the extra frustration and Mercury could be extra frustration and lostness. Mercury could be facing combined, and just to not make any bold decisions. And after it passes debilitation degrees, when it gets into Revati, also be cautious about the bold thinking and stuff like that. But, the frustration is going to go away a little bit more because because it passes debilitation and it's out of Saturn's Nakshrata. But like I said, when it gets into Revati, you can use that more powerfully to, like I said, think about the thinking patterns that you think would be resourceful to kind of let go of at Mercury's point in the end point in the zodiac cycle before it starts its new journey throughout the zodiac cycle all over again. Okay. And just one other thing to keep in mind, Sun is with Mercury, so the ego could get frustrated throughout the whole time. You can either use this in the wrong way